So yesterday I shared this paper that I found in the back of the cabinet I'm working on, and I never turned it over until like later. And listen, on the back, this whoever this was, this little boy, so I want to say it's the young man that helped his father bring this over, is all these planes, there's tanks down there. It's like nothing but war on the back. You see them? Okay, so I saw that. And I'm reading this book called Soul Boom, Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution, and it's from Rainn Wilson. Okay? I'm just going to open to a random page because I was at the dentist with my daughter and just, the brain never stops. And I was getting all of these things. I'm just going to open to a random page. Sufi Muslim mystics were sometimes referred to as people of the graves because they would spend so much time in graveyards pondering their mortality. In the country of Bhutan, happiness is a central focus of life and culture. The government doesn't solely measure economic improvement, but also its citizens' well-being with its tracking of GNH, or gross national happiness. And yet, in the same culture, one is expected to think about death at least 3 times a day. Incredible for any nation, but especially for the one that is so linked to fostering its happiness. In Tibetan Buddhism, there is a long, rich death meditation history. The renowned 11th... I just smelled smoke burning, but my neighbor is burning something. Sorry. Page 117. In Tibetan Buddhism, there is a long, rich death meditation history. The renowned 11th century teacher, Ataisa, had 9 meditations on this theme. Number 1, 206 on the timestamp. Death is inevitable. Number 2, our personal lifespan is decreasing continuously day by day. Number 3, death will come whether or not we are prepared for it. Number 4, human life expectancy is uncertain. Number 5, there are many causes of death. Number 6, the human body is fragile and vulnerable. Number 7, at the time of death, our material resources are not of use to us. Our loved ones cannot keep us from death. And number 9, our own body cannot help us at the time of our death. Now, I found it so significant. Let me just finish this. The Tibetan guru Padmasambhava Bhava says, thine own awareness shining, void and inseparable from the ground of radiance, hath no birth, hath no death, and is the immutable light. American poet Walt Whitman supports this idea too. Walt Whitman. I have a plaque that my daughter got me from Walt Whitman after our home burned. We were together, I forget the rest. That was the first thing I hung on these walls. And the smoke burning over here signifies to me that's exactly the smell, 324, exactly the smell that I smelled the night my home was on fire and I went against my intuition and went in the house. And these nine, with the last being our own body cannot help us at the time of our death, and at the time of our death, our material resources are not of use to us. We had nothing when my home burned. Nothing. As far as materialistic shit goes. But my family survived. My animals survived. And that night they gave me the picture of my grandfather, Walter, my 1111, 411 on the clock. And in that moment, I knew. Okay? All goes onward and outward. Nothing collapses. And to die is different from what anyone supposed, and luckier. Okay, I'm going to stop that there because while I was reading this in the dentist's office, I was getting all of these, if you're still with me, and if you're not, okay, fly on, little bird, fly on. I was getting these. Girl Interrupted, for me, has been a movie that I've loved throughout my entire, since it came out. It's followed me. Number one, because of Winona Ryder. which when I thought of Winona Ryder, I was like, oh my God, your first Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Karina Winona. And after I thought of Girl Interrupted, I was like, wow, that whole concept was like they wanted to put her in that mental institution and she didn't belong there. And it was because she just couldn't, like, she just was so tired of following society's, you know, rhetoric and doing what they thought she needed to do. And she just wanted to live and be free. And her family thought that she was mentally unstable and had put her there. And after thinking of Winona Ryder, I thought of Bram Stoker's Dracula, one of my favorite movies of her, because I love like that 1800, the century, 1700 century, or whatever it's called, that time frame of like the big gowns, the corsets, all of that. And immediately I thought of her in the scarlet dress. The green dress took me back to a piece that I did when I had my shop open that my father-in-law now owns, and he has it in his vestibule where he walks in, and I named that piece Mina because that was Winona's name in that movie, okay? Mina. But before, her past life name was Elizabetta. And that movie from Bram Stoker's Dracula was in 1992, which was the year my daughter Stevie was born. So just, if you don't have to follow along, but this is how my brain works, and this is how I calculate things, and this is how it's like a tornado up there, okay? And as soon as I thought of the scarlet dress from that, I thought of Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. And, you know, that was from 1936, and that was around the Civil War, and she was stubborn. She was not going to do what they wanted her to do, and the point of that movie was she wanted to save her family's plantation. And immediately I thought of like ruby slippers from like the word scarlet, the scarlet dress, and I thought of ruby slippers, and then I thought of the tornado, and then I looked up like what was the point of the Gone with, and it was like she was in the Civil War, she was trying to fight her family's plantation, and her famous quote from that movie is, "As God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again." And then that made me think of the Scarlet Letter. And that was in 1850. The Scarlet Letter is a badge of disgrace or public stigma or a permanent mark of infamy attached to a person for a perceived mistake or societal taboo. I don't know what I wrote here. It questions if society has the right to define a person's morality based on one mistake. And then, I don't know why. Anyway, while that was all going on there, the song from, I don't remember his name, but what did I write down? Waiting on the World to Change was on. And in my head, because I was also reading the book and channeling this and writing, and then also like finding passages in the book, and this is how my brain works. I wrote down Soul Boom, Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution, and then Rainn Wilson being the rain of an element, and then that song was on, Waiting on the World to Change, and all I kept thinking was evolution, revolution. And, you know, North Node is Earth and the Mother. And then Gravity came on, that song Gravity. Gravity is working against me, working to bring me down, like 9/11. And then I thought of Let Them Eat Cake, but We're Pie, because it's 3.14, and then like that's the radius of a circle, and like back to the, listen, Linda. It's like never ending up there. Never ending. Genuine Parts, Ford, used here. 939, 1158, 12 o'clock here. The birdies are chirping. Mission Barbecue, the American way.